Hello. So, this is a strange video and deeply self-indulgent. And yes, please excuse the chipped Ace of Wands nail polish, because this video is happening because of a surprise. Today, while I was decorating for Mr. Wanderplea's birthday, which I go hard on that, there was a knock on the door from the postwoman handing me a parcel. And I was trying to guess who it might be from, and it was a surprise parcel from my old roommate back in Nashville, Tennessee. So it came all the way across the sea to here, to little old Ilson in Derbyshire. And like, I immediately felt emotional and excited because my dear roommate, I won't say his name because he's a very private person. Like, he's the kind of person who doesn't even have a picture of himself as his profile picture on Facebook. So I will not say his name. But I always speak of him as my roommate in the present tense because he was the best ever. He is the best ever, and I love him so very much, and I miss him so very much. And some of the happiest years of my life were years that I spent with my roommate. So he's sort of like King Arthur, the once and future king. He's the once and future roommate. So yeah, there we go. We'll call him Arthur. We'll call him Roommate Arthur. But one of the things that he did put in this note was that he prayed that the new life here in England was magical. And oh my gosh, it is. It so is. I can't even express how magical it is. And oh, I miss him so much. So within the parcel, he gave me a lovely warm scarf and a new journal he said to write new dreams in. And of course it's Doctor Who, because he knows about me and the Doctor Who-ness of it all. And given that I write so much now, that is perfect. And then he placed memories, because most of the things that oh yeah, and little Shaning was not in the parcel, but Shaning is here for just to be a part of it, because there has to be, if it's a video from me, there's a troll in it. That is, I think it's a rule at this point. Yeah, it's a rule. But oh yeah, I was covering that because the name of my real name and my sister's real name are on it. But this was for our father, who we called Papa. And yeah, so all my stuff, sorry, from the past is in storage in Nashville. And my sweet once and future roommate and my sister are like the guardians of these items. They're in storage. But my mother recently moved from Nashville, meaning that there isn't any member of my blood family still in Nashville. There's just the family of my heart, which this roommate is definitely a brother of my heart. And so when she moved, a lot of other memories, things that I'd nearly forgotten about, were there. So this was a book made of felt and paint that my sister and I made for our father, who we called Papa, on Father's Day. And already so much emotions. So here's a manila folder. Here, we're gonna put Shenang over here because a vanilla folder. I'm not sure whether that's my horrific handwriting or my sister's, but Lord bless, when we're in a hurry, it gets like that. But what sweet Logan placed inside. Woo! I'm saving that, because I didn't fully read through it, but I am going to share it with you now. Move the manila folder over. These are poems from when I was in university, so I would have been in my early 20s when I took, I had a creative writing minor. Who would have thought? What a surprise! But these poems express so much. Also, yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of background noise in this video because it is the middle of the day and the wind is raging and howling and it's raining and it is a tempestuous day with a possible chance of snow, bits of snow, which is, of course, it's February. Woo! We had in bulk, but that fire of spring is still deep down in the earth. And this time period in my time, it's wild. It's wild to see the seeds of everything that I've become now here in these poems. And there's quite a bit of inspiration taken from these poems that I wrote so long ago, because we're talking like 2010, 16 years ago. Yes, my bones are turning into dust. I am aged. The old gray mare ain't what she used to be. I am the ancient of days. But there's so much inspiration that I took from this, both consciously and unconsciously. In the major arcana tarot card, Ursula and Kufula's, I always do that, Ursula and Kuful's tarot journey is here, as well as the deconstruction of faith, you know, going from that very narrow Christian view out into a much more universal view, a more tolerant view, and a way more exciting and fun view to, you know, where you have now the witch and ovate who sits before you with very chipped red nails. And honestly, this is mostly, I wanted to make this video as a thank you to my once and future roommate, Arthur. And I also wanted to share these with Natura and Mari and Maru because, yeah, I just want them to see it, because obviously a lot of my spiritual growth and artistic growth happens with them, and these are just interesting little peeks into the past. So she'll start with the first poem, and it is called That Is a Poem. Within a moment, that is a poem. No words come. just the wild whiskey sunbursts, pushed by the heart through willing veins. You only need poetry if you want it. Yes, you do wish it. So I gather my sharpest wits with care, and with my best innuendo, I tell all I know of fear, youth, and beauty. And this one, these things also burn and blister. This poem was very much written about the desire to deconstruct and break out of the narrow confines of American evangelical, what's the other word? Charismatic, wildly charismatic Christianity. And this poem is about a particular afternoon, but also a very close friendship I had. And this friend, unfortunately, with mental health, he was the son of a pastor. And unfortunately, he didn't quite fully make it through that deconstruction process, and he did end himself back in 2019. But the things that I learned from him and the time that I shared with him, like, I still feel in my heart. I frequently dream about him, and I kind of see that as him contacting me, you know, from wherever it is that he is. He's in my dreams a lot. And once I began properly celebrating Samhain, I began properly, like, connecting with him, like, purposefully with purpose, and that's been really wonderful. And I love him very much. But so here's this poem, and it's about the kinds of things that he and I would talk about, as well as what we were going through. And I feel that that's important. These things also burn and blister. Lady Wisdom looked askance at you and I as we fumbled with feeling, sensation, and vice. You can be the keeper of the fire. I was never good with matches and lighters. You promise we'll laugh at expectation and expect nothing more out of ourselves than to feel, relaxing into nothingness while taking note of everything, mostly that we're perpetually preparing to be something else. Dare we reach out our naked hands to touch the rough, stony faces of monuments made to instruct us? Will the faces come to life in response to our pulsating rhythms of now and our leftover childhood night terrors? Moses asked the God who spoke from the flaming bush, once he became used to trembling, how he would prove to the others that God was to blame for this erratic behavior. God answered, "What is that you have in your hands?" And here is a very awkward poem about my first boyfriend when I was 17, who I caught cold sores, mouth cold sores from kissing him, and I have a scar from it on my bottom lip. And this time, this is so long before Alex. Whew, hallelujah, thank you to everything in the universe that I found Alex. But yeah, the cringy obsession with this poor boy. He was from Switzerland. Well, he is from Switzerland. I mean, we're still, like, on speaking terms. Which, to be fair, because of him, I got really into German, trying to learn the German language, trying to learn Swiss German, but also German. And now, that I have Mary and Maru in my life, that fascination with Germany has blossomed there. So everything is connected and everything happens for a reason. But this is that it's cringy, it's intense. And yeah, you're welcome. Here you go. You again. I think I caught it from you. And now, whenever I am stressed, sleepless, of low immunity, that sore appears on my lip or about my mouth, sometimes inside as well. The first time it left this scar, a pale, hovering ghost on my soft bottom lip, slightly off-center. When the light is just right, I see it. I look for it. I run my fingertip over it, lightly reading. I extend the tip of my tongue, wetting it to glistening. And so it is. You again, you again, you again. All of me knows this. And here are my attempts at haiku beginning verse. I don't know what's happening here, but it's about the seasons, which obviously now I live and celebrate and work with the seasons very intentionally. So let's see what a baby Wanderplay had to say about that. Spring, girlish, joyous orb, bubbles our breath through a wand, swirling rainbows pop. Summer, round sun of summer, stretching into woman's shape, white paths over hills. Autumn, open eyes open eyes widening, caterwauling in crisp night, arched feline outlines. Winter, winter gray turns, festival greenery bright, she welcomes him in. Spring, cloud of baby's breath, a new happy planet rests, warm against her hips. Oh, I remember now. They're all haikus, and it's about a woman's life. So we have the maiden in the spring, going into the summer, and, developing into a woman. And then the autumn where we are discovering sex. And then in the winter, in which the conception begins, she finds the lover with whom she conceives a child. Bear in mind, at this point, I had actually not had the grown-up activity. I had not done that yet. I didn't do that till I was 25. And the first time was horrific with an awful person. And then I met my husband. And then, of course, in the spring, pregnancy. I very much, in a artistic sense, was obsessed with pregnancy. And of course now, at the age that I am, and with the medical conditions I have, I will not physically ever be pregnant. But I still revere the process and discover that, no, that creative spark, that conception, it occurs in my art and in my practice, and I am quite happy and pleased with that. But actually, I like that one. Oh, here we go. Here's some more cringe. I don't even remember who this one's about, but I'm sure it was somebody that I had a crush on, because I was a very once the hormones kicked in, it was all about wanting to fall in love, wanting to kiss people. That's, How our fingers could meet. I will share my heart with you. It is broken already. I can spare pieces. I am afraid of beauty, because I could crush it between these two hands, palms warm, fingers cold, clasping and unclasping. I am near you, and the fidgeting of my fingers toward one another tells the story of how our fingers could meet. When your moment has come, or you think it has, I will see you off. I can spare pieces. Oof. Oof. Emotions high. Emotions high. And this is a poem about me and my sister, who very much, we still are close, but we were very, very close and lived our entire days together in our teens. And we liked our little rituals, and I called them rituals. The language of magic has been a part of who I am my entire life. Seeing what I've become now and what I make and do, it's not really that. It's not surprising in any way. Everybody knew it. Our weekly rituals dictate that we must always buy 2 types of fruit at the grocer's. View vote apples. I would die without oranges. Piercing an orange's tough, shiny skin with my fingernail. My thumb pushing beneath to its soft whiteness, pulling away a bright colored curl. I grin, spitting seeds out onto my fingertips and offering a wedge or 2. When you feel generous, you offer me a bite, and since neither of us is sick, I take one, my teeth splitting the burnished side you haven't reached yet, leaving a mark that mostly resembles yours. We swear by our fruit talismans. I shouldn't get scurvy, and you won't need doctors. Or so we hope. Perhaps together we can avoid both. And actually now I eat way more apples than I eat oranges. And of course I'm fixated on apples because of, they're the fruit of the other world, so. Oh. Oh yes, this is very much about deconstruction and that chafing against the sides of that narrow box of Christianity that I was raised in. And there's so much emotion in this. And as I glance on it, yeah, there's so much pain in this and fear in this. And yeah, still relevant now, honestly. But I am so happy to be on the other side of that. And the title of it is a line from one of the Psalms that I think it's the Psalms, might be the book of Jeremiah. Don't quote me on that, but those who survived the sword found grace in the wilderness. Those in the wilderness twist their bodies upward, begging for the rain. Others fall onto cold cathedral floors, crying for forgiveness, making bargains, striking deals. Some hold their petitions like small facts within themselves, while a few throw their arms up, letting everything float from them on breezes. We haven't tricked him yet. Ooh, and more of very similar, same. more coming of age, more deep emotions, more yearning for magic, and also yearning for doing the grown-up activity. But deeper than that, it was from the soul. Bones and spirit, skin and blood. Once before my eyes swirled golden-hued paints, used for animations constructed of simple plots, careful editing, and false endings. When truth was revealed, there was tears, salty tokens of adolescent idiosyncrasies that was soon squelched by the pastel giggling from the surface of the body, soul unknown that could marvelously contain vibrant bloodiness. Hunger first, then loneliness, rage, prickling complications, ferocious boiling within, then that falling, splintering, that oozing of deep color over bland surface. All was still then, except the shivering. And the light that reached through the blinds to touch skin just beginning to know itself. Then the rising to go out, the leaving of shoes, and walking over yellow dead grass, and those sharply brilliant patches of weak, old snow. And here we have, my leg has fallen asleep. My foot is fully asleep. Oh no. Here we have the original Matryoshka story that became part of the Justice card all the way back in 2010, 2011-ish time. Matryoshka, Little Mother. An artist named Sasha, even though a man, has hands that move as a mother's would, and he shapes a mother, turning the lathe with such care. Matryoshka, Little Mother. With a hot poker he burns into her pale wood the marks that become her face, and the great cathedral on her belly. He burns all of her daughters too, each one smaller and fitting inside the other, and all made from the same wood. Some days I can't remember what I look like. I stop at each reflective surface, goggling at this image, gold for the hair, a soft pink for the cheeks, and that deep blue-purple beneath each eye. Purple from all of those nights of talking, embracing, and the blending of souls. But more so those other nights, when I lay with all the hurts and confusions of those that I love inside me. I can heal nothing. I suspect myself a failure. I could flee. I could be empty, wild and otherly. I could burrow into the earth amongst the roots, the insects, and moisture. It gets warmer and wetter the deeper I get, while taken by raging fires of separateness. Hell. No, I whirl around, arms open, to find a friendly spirit nesting within another's body. Please embrace me now. I cannot live apart. I cannot live empty. He burns all of her daughters too, each one smaller and fitting inside the other, and all made from the same wood. I forgot that this particular poem included the burrowing into the earth and the roots and everything, and it's wild because that has become the fixation, that has become the center of everything that I do now. My relationship with the worms, and it's all there. It's all there. It's like a map. It was like a map that I wrote for myself to guide me to this moment, and thank you so much once and future roommate Arthur for sending me these, because I forgot about most of these. And it's wild to see how there was a very crystallized moment in time before things got real wild in my life and really off the rails. That I was beginning to see and know who I was and what I needed to do. It's the map. And I also find it quite wild as well because I suddenly realized something. So I want to say that it was either 2018 or 2019 when Uranus went into Taurus, which is my rising sign. And Uranus has been all up in there, causing all of the rebellion and revolution and life-changingness for me since that point. But it's wild to me because when it went in there, 2019 was the year that I moved in with the once and future roommate Arthur, which was life-changing because up to right before that point, my mental health was at an all-time low, and I was game-ending, self-ending point. It was really bad, and living with this roommate and having that safety saved my life. And then also at that time in 2019 is when my Alex came for a visit. At that point, we had been together for 3 years. And that was when we decided we got married. We got secretly married, actually, initially. And then, of course, he had to come back. He had to come back to the UK. And then we had to weather that time period between 2019 and 2021? Yes. The end of 2021, where when we did not, till I finally was able to come here to England and be with him and start my new life. And also 2019 was also the year when that very dear friend that was the one poem, All Things Burn and Blister poem, also passed away. And it was such a dramatic, wild time, but in the middle of all of it there was this roommate, and I am just so grateful for him. And here I am now, and back on the, what day was it? Just recently, one of the last few days, Uranus finally moved out of Taurus and into, I want to say, Gemini. Woo! So, it's very much that moment in time of me being able to be like, okay, cool, so we've done all this, who are we now? And then I just find it a perfect synchronicity that this parcel came to me today. Sort of capping that off, reminding me of the journey and giving me this opportunity to reconnect with 2010, 2011 me, and also to really, yeah, it's real cool. And so I'm making this weird long video, and yeah. Oh, and then here is a Father's Day card that I made for my father at some point, where it has grown up me saying, as long as there's room for my desk, because of course I need my desk, I need my things to make my weird art and writings. Me as a baby, and then me as a little child obsessed with the Redwall books, telling him that he's a Badger Lord. And then there is a Mother's Day card that I made for my mother. And I called her Mother Goddess. And I said, all the mysteries of the world flow through you. Welcome to the beginning. I did it on a paper bag for some reason. But I love, yeah, thank you, Rumi, for sending me that, because it's like, yep, if that isn't the kind of art that I make all the time now, I don't know what is. And then A printed out version of one of the Wanderplea origin stories. I think this particular time, I think this was the first time when she was called Wanderplea. That's where the Wanderplea name like really got its start. And yeah, I would write my stories, and then I would leave them on my papa's desk, and then he would read through it and he would workshop it with me and help me like edit it and have revision ideas, which was something that was so precious and I'm so grateful for. And oh my word, this is so cringy because I want to say this is from when I was like 15 years old, and woo, it's a wild time, but we won't do this one. Maybe sometime I might share it, but yeah. The origin of the name Wanderplea right here, which is so fun because the roommate didn't have any idea how meaningful this particular as well would be. But so thank you, and I love you and I miss you so much. And yeah, I have now shared this weird thing on this very rainy day. And of course we have Shunning here. A part of, oh, that's finally fallen off. Some of the little, that's a little peridot crystal. Also, very fun. I'm just rambling now. It's fine. It's cool. It's my YouTube channel. I can do what I want. And this is for my friends. I mean, if someone else watches it, I feel like most people would click on it and go, what the hell is even that? And that's fine, because this is just, it's for me, it's for my friends. Like, yeah, like Natura and Maddie and Maru and Joanna. And for my beloved once and future roommate. But I thought it was really fun because I put a little fox charm on Shunning when he was the fool. And of course, that turned into Kufel. So, the little fool. Shunning, which is like the little fox, and Shunning was the first troll that I got, and he was based on, well, that I got as an adult. He's based on my memories of a troll, the troll that I had as a child and loved very much, and so Alex had gotten it me for my birthday. And then I named him Shunning because that's one of the weird names that I've made up and that I call Alex Mr. Wanderplea. He has so many names. I very rarely ever call him Alex when I'm speaking to him. I call him Shunning, Neiman, all the different names. So it's named after him, but yes. Thank you for joining me. If you did, no judgment if you didn't. This was very deeply indulgent as I shared my cringy writings from my youth, but I just wanted to share them. And now I have a lot of things to do. So much to do. And oh, also I get to go into a cave. On Alex's birthday. And Alex and I have now discovered that pretty much any time one of us has a birthday, we end up going into a cave. So Alex was like, oh, we go into the earth and then we're born out of it. Oh, also I just realized I think I doxed my actual first name. That's fine. My name's Abigail. But for the purposes of public life, I go by Wanderplea. That's fine. Yeah, Abigail. But yeah. I hope y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Hope you're staying warm. Thank you so much to my roommate, and I shall talk to y'all later. Bye!